Advantage General is
7 a.m. and it's now time for the Morning Watch. Today, the Morning Watch is brought to you by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection.
NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's website, mlss.gov.jm, or the nearest NIS office and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, Lost Case, recounting the challenge to the law criminalizing buggery in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And in the second watch, the best of Jamaican Christian entities. We're talking about Resurrected Garvey Outreach Ministries and the Love March movement. For our social media question, we ask, what else should Christians in Jamaica do to safeguard efforts to keep the buggery law? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's our quote.
Good morning, good morning. Today's iQuote says, do one thing every day that scares you. And this is from Eleanor Roosevelt.
Good morning, Jukal.
Good morning, good morning.
Yeah, instead of scare, I think I'd prefer the word challenge.
Challenge, right.
Yeah,
right.
do one thing every day that challenges
you. Correct.
Sounds reasonable.
That's all better.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The first watch will be back after this break.
Another World of Worship Wednesday is coming your way inside Alive 1 to 4:30, February 21. Packed with worship. Stick around for the brain testing meant starts at 1:45. Prayer Blast will come your way at 2 o'clock. More prayer, more power. 2:15, we feature Ambassador Rose as our worship artist of the day. At 3 p.m., we bring you Hot Topic. Join us to find out what's trending in your world of music, entertainment, sports, lifestyle, you name it. All this and more will come your way inside Alive 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. This World of Worship Wednesday, February 21, with yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One, on the family station Love 101, celebrating 31 years of music, family, and love.
Hallelujah.
Oh my gosh, it's you song.
Is
That's right. And they represent what? Youth Sound.
Listen for Youth Sounds on Wednesdays at 4:15 p.m. as youths from the Jamaica Baptist Union discuss issues affecting youths and giving their youthful input on the happenings of the day.
Youth Sounds is brought to you by the Jamaica Baptist Union. It is a program of the Jamaica Baptist Union Youth Department.
Youth Sounds every Wednesday at 4:15 p.m. on the family station, Love 101. Youth Sounds.
Are you from?
What do you mean by youth sounds? Youth sounds. You don't know it's youth sounds.
Youth Sounds.
The Jamaica Theological Seminary presents the Clive Affleck Memorial Lecture, Thursday, February 22 at 6 p.m. at the Jamaica Theological Seminary, 814 to 16 West Avenue, Kingston. Listen live on Love 101 FM radio and on our social media platforms. That's the Jamaica Theological Seminary Clive Affleck Memorial Lecture, Thursday, February 22 at 6 p.m. live on Love 101 FM, the family station.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, on Friday, February 16 this year, the announcement came. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Buggery Law case ruling handed down just now. Claims dismissed in their entirety. Now, this was in reference to their High Court dismissing the case brought by two gay St. Vincent and Grenadines nationals living overseas, challenging the island's buggery and gross indecency laws. Now, notwithstanding the fact that this is morning radio, to tell us more about the case, we have online two attorneys at law from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in the persons of Ms. Mandela Peters and Mrs. Cheryl Bailey. Good morning to you both. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to share on the Morning Watch.
Great. Good to have you both with us. Thanks for joining us. Now, ladies, tell us what were your respective roles and the responsibilities in the aforementioned case, as well as give us some highlights coming out of the case. Beginning with you, Ms. Peters.
Right. Both Mrs. Bailey and I, we were the attorneys representing the first to 10th interested parties, and those parties were 10 churches/church organizations who intervened in this matter. So we were co-counsel in respect of the matter representing the churches. And this matter was filed on the 26th day of July, 2019. There were two separate matters. SVG High Court Claim 110 of 2019 was filed on behalf of Javin Kevin Ving Johnson against the Attorney General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And on the same day, St. Vincent and the Grenadines High Court Claim 111 of 2019 was filed by Sean McLeish against the Attorney General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And those claims were filed challenging the constitutionality of sections 146 and 148 of the Criminal Code, which is chapter 171 of the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2009 revision. And those sections deal with buggery and gross indecency between persons of the same sex. On the 18th day of September, both cases were consolidated, and on the 21st day of October 2019, an application was made on behalf of those 10 churches/church organizations to be joined as interested parties in those proceedings. And on the 20th day of November 2019, our application was successfully granted. It was not without challenge. It was vigorously opposed, but thankfully we were able to take part in the proceedings.
Now, Mrs. Bailey, mention was made a while ago by Ms. Peters in regards to the churches and church organizations. How comes? What role did the churches play in all of this?
Well, thankfully, good morning, listeners, and good morning, hosts. For thankfully, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have a very active Christian community. And the churches came together as soon as the claims were filed to instruct Mrs. Peters. And Mrs. Peters got the team together in order to mount a challenge on different grounds that had different grounds from what other jurisdictions had been relying on or defending these proceedings. Now, I say other jurisdictions. There was a successful challenge to decriminalize the laws in Trinidad and Tobago, in Belize, and there was a challenge also in Jamaica, but we know that that has now been unsuccessful. But we thought as a church that we would want to bring to the court's attention evidence that was lacking in all the other jurisdictions. So we set about to show the harm of buggery and to show the difference between the lifestyle of the claimants vis-a-vis the conduct. The law doesn't talk about the lifestyle of the claimants or the lifestyle of same-sex conduct. It talks about buggery with regards to the cross section of the community, whether it's the same sex, heterosexual couples, or even with animals. So we mounted our challenge based on public morality and public health. And we worked, very, very tirelessly to ensure that the right and correct evidence was placed before the court. So the court had a balance of evidence, as opposed to, as we've seen in other jurisdictions, it being much more one-sided by claimants. So that was really where we saw we could make a difference in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we were supported, as we said, by 10 churches, but many, many, many more churches within St. Vincent and the Grenadines were in support. But we were strategic in respect of having a number of churches as the interested parties, as opposed to having 50 churches or 60 churches, but we were very much supported.
So, Mrs. Peters, what really does the law state in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in regards to buggery?
Okay, so section 146 of the Criminal Code states, and I quote, buggery means any person who A, commits buggery with any other person, B, commits buggery with an animal, or C, permits any person to commit buggery with him or her, is guilty of an offense and liable to imprisonment for 10 years. And section 148, which deals with indecent practices between persons of the same sex, states that any person who, whether in public or private, commits any act of gross indecency with another person of the same sex, or procures or attempts to procure another person of the same sex to commit an act of gross indecency with him or her, is guilty of an offense and is liable to imprisonment for 5 years. So what is noteworthy, as my colleague Mrs. Bailey would have shared, in respect of section 146, buggery is against the law in respect of irrespective of whether it's male and male or male and female. It deals with any person, it deals with animals, and it also addresses allowing somebody to commit buggery with you. And the indecent practices between persons of the same sex deals with whether it's male and male or female and female. That section 148 deals with indecent practices between persons of the same sex and prohibits those acts.
Yeah. So Mrs. Peters, I don't know if you're aware of Jamaica's law in that regard, in terms of the stipulations. Are there any differences?
I can't recall off of the top of my head, but I believe that there are similarities in respect of the offense of buggery.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ladies. We are up on a break. We'll be right back.
Time on Love 101 is now 7:15 a.m. and we want to continue to thank the Ministry of Labor and Social Security for sponsoring this hour from 7 to 8.
We doing business better business. So no it easy you to set up a business. Though you not fit have contacts and big things to get your business sort out. Talk about business better business. No it easy you to set up a business. So you not fit have contacts and big things to get your business sort out. Talk about Jamaica business make pay. One single window for cross-border trade. Construction permit, real estate. More convenience, less red tape. With application portal online, so you now fit and up in a long line. That's business faster, improved process. That means smarter, that means no stress.
Visit JamaicaBusinessReforms.com to learn how we are building better business together. Sponsored by JAMPO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Get busy with a Biscott, biz grow, biz boost with a JN Bank biz loan. You can't lose when you want to grow more on your business too.
JN Bank Small Business Loans.
Have a loan for you.
Helping you succeed is our business. Tell us your business and let's help you start it, grow it, or boost it. Borrow as low as $10,000 and up to 100 million Jamaican dollars. Enjoy flexible payment terms and affordable rates. Apply now. WhatsApp 876-295-1298. JN Bank. We'll help you find a way.
NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's website, mlss.gov.jm, or the nearest NIS office and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
Your taxes hold the key.
Let's get digital. Get online this March 15. File and pay your final income tax return for 2023 and estimated return for 2024. There are so many options. JamaicaTax.gov.jm, direct funds transfer, NCB online banking, and Scotia online and mobile app. Pay your taxes the digital way. All returns must be filed online and on time. Tax Administration Jamaica, changing the way we do business.
Hallelujah.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this, the first watch, we are recounting the challenge to the law criminalizing buggery in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In so doing, we have online two attorneys from that part of the world in the persons of Mrs. Mandela Peters and Mrs. Cheryl Bailey. Welcome again, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I now have the Jamaican sections and I can share so that you can see similarity. Right, so section 76 of the Offences Against the Person Act in Jamaica states that whosoever shall be convicted of the abominable crime of buggery committed either with mankind or with any animal shall be liable to be imprisoned and kept to hard labor for a term not exceeding 10 years. And section 79 of the Offences Against the Person states that any male person who in public or private commits or is party to the commission of or procures or attempts to procure the commission by any male person of any act of gross indecency with another male person shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and being convicted thereof shall be liable at the discretion of the court to be imprisoned for a term not exceeding 2 years with or without hard labor. So the sections are very similar, just one or two differences.
Yes. Thanks for that.
Yeah,
Mrs. Bailey, there must have been some sticking points in the case. You want to share some of those with us?
I chuckle because there were many sticking points in the case. The case went, as Mrs. Peters has said, this case started in 2019, and we are now in 2024 where we're receiving the decision. We encountered many difficulties. especially midway through the proceedings. And let me just say very quickly, as a constitutional matter, the court had indicated that they wanted to deal with the matter with some speed because it's a constitutional matter. So there were directions given by the court as early as the 18th of September 2019. We intervened, and we did not expect our intervention, and it did not. That's important to say. It did not delay matters. What happened, however, was an application was made by the claimants in 2020, and the decision went against them, and we ended up on that interlocutory. So when we say interlocutory applications, it's applications halfway through the case. We end up going to the Court of Appeal. In order for the judgment that Justice Henry made in March of 2020 to be overruled. So that delayed matters. So not only did we have to prepare for trial in this matter, we also had to go to the Court of Appeal in the September of 2020. So that was a very sticky point. The Court of Appeal found and allowed the appeal, and the matter went on. And then there were delays with regards to just prosecuting the claim in a timely fashion. Notwithstanding that, we had our directions at the end of 2022. We knew we were going for trial. And trial took place last May and July. And it has taken the judge significant time because of the vast amounts of case law that she had to look at, submissions that were filed by not only the claimants, the defendants, ourselves, and incidentally, another interested group came into the proceedings, and they're a group called Vinci Chap, and they came into the proceedings very late in the day. So there were almost four parties. There was four parties involved in the proceedings, and the judge has taken her time. She told us that she would take some time to consider all of the evidence, and we had the judgment on Friday. So there's been many hurdles, there's been many barriers, there's been many highs and lows, but thank God we were victorious. Notwithstanding, I would just say that the written judgment is not available yet. So as to why the claims were dismissed in their entirety, we have an idea of why that has happened. The judge indicated that the two claimants did not have locus standing, which means that they were not in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They have been out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for a number of years. And that seems to be the theme of which she dismissed the claims. But until such time that we've been able to dissect the judgment, it's going to be very difficult for either Mrs. Peters or myself to comment today as to what weight she put on public health and what weight she put on public morality, because in her oral decision, she concentrated very clearly on the alleged breaches, whether they were in the past, the present, and the future. Now, if one of the claimants has asylum in the United Kingdom, he is no longer here. So there are no present breaches, and there can be no further breaches. And one of the other claimants last was in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2005. And notably, the judge noted in her oral decision that this one particular claimant did not even come out, so to speak, until he was age 30 and was already outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, we're in a court of law. Evidence matters. It's not about your feelings, and it's not about what's happening in the international arena, or even recently, they took it to court. It wasn't a select committee. It wasn't a conversation at the UN. We went to court, and the court deals with evidence. If your evidence is lacking, then a court cannot rule in favor of you if your evidence is not strong. In any matter, a court has to balance. In a civil matter, they have to balance the evidence and say on a preponderance of the evidence what is the right way to go. So, as I said, without having seen the judgment, it's very difficult for us to be able to determine the weight that the judge put on all of the evidence. Suffice to say that she indicated the lack of standing, the lack of those claimants having a sufficient connection with St. Vincent and the Grenadines was one of the reasons why the claims were dismissed.
Was there a jury?
No, this was a trial before a judge alone, so it was
Oh,
not a jury trial. And the
okay.
trial lasted about 5 days, or 5 or 6 days?
6 days, 5 days,
Yeah.
5 days.
Yes,
Yeah.
about 5 days. The trial lasted. There was vigorous cross-examination of the claimants' experts, the defendants' experts, and the interested parties' experts as well, and our witnesses. So this was a matter that was fully and properly ventilated.
Yeah. And as you speak about ventilation, from your perspective, Mrs. Peters, what has been the general response to the verdict from the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Well, from what I have seen, mostly through social media, it has been, I would say the majority of the comments have been in favor of the decision that was made by the judge. And this
Okay.
is not surprising because we are a conservative nation. We still consider ourselves to be a Christian nation.
Right.
Yes, there are still the naysayers who are in favor of the LGBTQ agenda, who were disappointed by the judgment. But I believe the wider community was happy and satisfied with the decision of the court. And it did not only extend to in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but it extended beyond our shores, where I received a report from Grenada, I believe it was, where a pastor in Grenada said that the judgment gave hope. If it is that a challenge is launched there, that there's a hope that it would not go the way that other jurisdictions have gone.
Very interesting. Mrs. Bailey, as we wind down our discussion, as far as you are concerned, now that the verdict is out, is the matter now done and over with?
As I was alluding to earlier, until we see the judgment and we actually we can read and understand the judge's reasonings, it's impossible for us to say. As far as we're concerned, we have a resounding win. The judge dismissed the claims in their entirety and surprisingly ordered costs too. So I'm interested to see the justification for that. So it's impossible, host, to say where we're going. I suspect that the claimants, through the information I've seen on social media, they're not satisfied. They are viewing St. Vincent and the Grenadines as very saying that we're out on a limb because Barbados has just decriminalized their laws.
Right.
Kitts and Nevis have just decriminalized their laws, and as has Antigua. However, the factual matrix was very different, in which those judges determined the cases as they did. It's a wait and see situation. I would like to, once the judgment is out, maybe to join you and your listening audience again, to be able to give you a better insight into what was determined, because at this point in time, it's watch this space.
When that happens, there's the possibility of further appeal, right?
I suspect that the claimants will appeal.
Yeah.
The disappointing party have that right, and they have 42 days to appeal. So we will know in 6 weeks as to where we're going with the proceedings.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I think our time is just about up. We want to thank you both for joining us.
You're very
welcome. Congratulations on the verdict so far, as you look forward to the judgment, is it? In terms of the details.
We look forward to receiving the written judgment.
Yes, right. Okay. Bless you, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us as well. God bless you.
Bless you too.
God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Blessings.
You too. You too. Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Anything possible with a little savings in your hand.
The time by Jan Bank is
7:30.
If you use music for any commercial purpose, you need a JCAP license.
Of course, and I benefit when my music is used commercially.
JCAP, the Jamaica Association of Composers, Authors and Publishers, protects the rights of its members and worldwide creators of musical works by issuing licenses for the use of these works.
If you use music for any commercial purpose,
you need a JCAP license.
Comply with the law.
Call JCAP at 948-5937 and 948-6439.
Get a JCAP license now.
NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labor and Social Security's website, mlss.gov.jm, or the nearest NIS office and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
Well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on my Bashco. Get it on my Bashco. Bashco. Be everything where you need. Bashco. Quality service guaranteed on my Bashco. Get it on my Bashco. Yeah, Bashco. Furniture for your house, everything for your kitchen, rocks, and more at Bashco. The store that gives you more. Bashco.
It's Reggae Month, and the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, JARIA, presents Reggae Praise, endorsed by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Wednesday, February 28 at 6 p.m. And what a glory that will be. Come hear the sounds of Levy's Heritage, Sister Pat, Humble, John Mark Wigan, Orlando Small, Odia Spencer Brown, Nadine Blair and Perpetual Sounds of Praise. Your MC? Yours truly, Nadine Blair. Reggae Wednesday's Reggae Praise is on Wednesday, February 28 at 6 p.m. at the Festival Marketplace at Kingston Waterfront. The Festival Marketplace is situated near the Kingston Craft Market on Ocean Boulevard, right near the Myers Wharf. Easy to find and admission is free. So make your plans to come out in your numbers for a night of worship in the key of reggae. What a night, what a glory that will be indeed. Reggae Praise, Wednesday, February 28 at 6 p.m. Festival Marketplace. See you there. A Love 101 endorsed event.
If you know that this music belongs to the Lord, let me see your hands up. If you know reggae music belongs to the Lord.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, will always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, so help you achieve them. You're never alone. Taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams. Every day helping you succeed, that's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Observer, no hidden agenda in travel advisory, says the U.S. government. Also for Jamaica's good, the Prime Minister says he'll implement any project that will benefit country regardless of whose idea it is. In the Gleaner, NCB Staff Association triumphs at Privy Council in profit-sharing scheme fight with the bank. And also in the Gleaner, Bahamas moves into space tourism. Interesting. And then we see in Loop News, Jamaica making major strides to combat human trafficking, says the Commissioner of Police. Happy to hear that. Those are some of the major stories in our newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. What else should Christians in Jamaica do to safeguard efforts to keep the buggery law? What else should Christians in Jamaica do to safeguard efforts to keep the buggery law? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. Soon come back.
The Jamaica Baptist Union is hosting its 174th General Assembly under the theme Keeping Faith with the Word in an Ever-Changing World. And this Wednesday, February 21, you are invited to listen to the opening service live from the Boulevard Baptist with speaker, President Reverend Dr. Glenroy Lalo, pastor of the Bethel Baptist Church in Halfway Tree, speaking on the theme Pursuing Integrity. Listen for Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef at 7 p.m. this Wednesday, right before the broadcast of the JPU. Join us on Sunday, February 25 at 10 a.m. as we will bring you the service from the National Arena with speaker Reverend Maria Laws on the theme Keeping Faith with the Word in an Ever-Changing World, Demanding Equity. That's the Jamaica Baptist Union 174th General Assembly this Wednesday, February 21 at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, February 25 at 10 a.m. live on the family station Love 101. In an effort to facilitate the broadcast of the Jamaica Baptist Union's General Assembly on Wednesday, February 21 at 7:30 p.m., the program Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef will be aired at 7 p.m. The Jamaica Theological Seminary presents the Clive Affleck Memorial Lecture, Thursday, February 22 at 6 p.m. at the Jamaica Theological Seminary, 814 to 16 West Avenue, Kingston. Listen live on Love 101 FM radio and on our social media platforms. That's the Jamaica Theological Seminary Clive Affleck Memorial Lecture, Thursday, February 22 at 6 p.m. live on Love 101 FM, the family station.
Another World of Worship Wednesday is coming your way inside Alive 1 to 4:30, February 21. Packed with worship. Stick around for the brain testing exercise at 1:45. Prayer Blast will come your way at 2 o'clock. More prayer, more power. 2:15, we feature Ambassador Rose as our worship artist of the day. At 3 p.m., we bring you Hot Topic. Join us to find out what's trending in your world of music, entertainment, sports, lifestyle, you name it. All this and more will come your way inside Alive 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. This World of Worship Wednesday, February 21, with yours truly, Sour and the Chirpy One, on the family station Love 101, celebrating 31 years of music, family, and love.
Oh my gosh, it's you song!
Hey, he's right. I represent what? Youth Sound. Listen for Youth Sounds on Wednesdays at 4:15 p.m. as youths from the Jamaica Baptist Union discuss issues affecting youths and giving their youthful input on the happenings of the day.
Youth Sounds is brought to you by the Jamaica Baptist Union. It is a program of the Jamaica Baptist Union Youth Department.
Youth Sounds every Wednesday at 4:15 p.m. on the family station Love 101. Youth Sounds.
Are you Sounds?
What do you mean by Youth Sounds? Youth Sounds. Don't know it's Youth Sounds.
Youth Sounds.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today, 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. It's the telephone counseling and prayer ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. A reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Jokal for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. What else should Christians in Jamaica do to safeguard efforts to keep the Buggery law? Jokal?
All right, so we do have some responses here. Cherry in Spanish Town says, good morning. As Christians, let us continue to pray because it can be very traumatizing for some persons, and let our voice be heard in the right place. Let's hear again. Who else do we have? I believe this is Sister Ennis. I believe the most important thing for the Christian community to do is to be more united and act like the body of Christ. Then the Christians will have more influence on the nation and the laws of the nation because they will be respected as a moral authority. Additionally, we need to have a balanced view so that persons can be more receptive of the Christian perspective on morality and to take a more empathetic approach to persons. Not many persons feel excluded because of their choices, but to mentor and encourage them instead of always bashing. This one came from Kim, actually. And that's the end of our responses on WhatsApp.
All right. Mouthful there. Continue to pray and continue to be more united and act like the body of Christ. Okay, I want to thank those who responded. And so as we segue into the second watch, we continue celebrating and highlighting some of the best Jamaican Christian entities, persons, or movements for Black History Month on this, the Morning Watch. And so we're going to be talking in this, the second watch, about two relatively young but impactful entities. We're talking about the Love March movement and the Resurrected Garvey Outreach Ministries. And in so doing, we have joining us Mrs. Francesca Tavares, Vice President of the Love March movement, and the Reverend Stacey Ann Garvey, founder of Resurrected Garvey Outreach Ministries. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me as well.
You are welcome. Good to have both of you with us this morning. Now, ladies, tell us why, when, and how your respective organizations came into existence, beginning with you, Reverend Garvey.
All right. So I had what you would call an encounter, a testimony of such, where I was incarcerated for a few years, came back home, and then I started go through what many would call my process. And in going through the process, I had days of lack upon lack. There were days when I was going without, just learning to be totally dependent on God and knowing what it is like to really be in need. Mm-hmm. And so years later, God would have birthed what you call Resurrected Garvey Ministry. And an arm of the ministry is Resurrected Garvey Outreach, where we go into communities and go to the homeless and persons that are less fortunate.
Okay. And for you, Ms. Tavares?
Yes. So the Love March movement was founded 11 years ago. And it began out of a desire in the heart of a young woman, a burden in Christy Lee's heart for the teenagers in her school, in her high school. She was seeing many were living very immoral lifestyles, and her heart was broken for it, and saying, Lord, is there not a generation that would rise up to proclaim purity for the generations to come? And in sharing this burden with other young persons, in the place of prayer, a desire came, and I think it was a prophetic call from the Lord to do a march for sexual purity and the restoration of the family in Jamaica. And so that march happened 11 years ago, from Hope Gardens to Mandela Park, and we had a concert. And from that initial march, the Love March movement was birthed, which is a youth Christian organization for sexual purity and the family. We're so concerned about the restoration of the fundamental pillars of our nation, undergirded by the truth of the Judeo-Christian worldview, permeating every sector of society. So that's where we are right now. We're excited about the journey that the Lord has had us on. Our team expanded and contracted, and we're enjoying every aspect of the journey.
Okay.
Praise God.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ladies, for introducing us to the both organizations. We are up on a break. We'll be right back.
In life, the more you have to lose.
The more you love, the more you worry. The more you own, the less you sleep.
The more people rely on you, the more you have on your mind.
I have peace of mind,
knowing that whatever I own
and whoever I care about are covered by the very best.
With Sagicor Life and Advantage General, get life, health, and general insurance to help you protect what matters most.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party. In 2022, the Jamaica Labour Party government opened new fire stations in Montego Bay, Old Harbour, and Yalos. We're building for you and your community. This election day, vote JLP. This election day, vote Jamaica Labour Party.
When you run for me, we'll keep building Jamaica. So vote for the JLP.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
When you say phosphorus, you say electrical. SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say phosphorus, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say phosphorus, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Phosphorus is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Phosphorus.
The Little Junkie is on duty every Saturday inside Youth Connection. Don't miss the hype. Don't miss the tunes. Don't miss the excitement with your boy, DJ Reverb. Saturdays at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on your family station. Tune in at 4 p.m. for our gym feature where we share word to grow your mind. And at 4:30 p.m., we share with you how young people are giving of their time and fulfilling their purpose inside Ministry in Action. We're going to take a poetry and spoken word inside Poetry Breeze. And you get to send us a WhatsApp message and request your favorite gospel song inside Gospel Faves at 5. Oh, this and more every Saturday on your family station. Love 101 at 3 p.m. inside Youth Connection with your love jockey, your boy, DJ Rebirth.
DJ Rebirth.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. In the second watch, we have been focusing on two Christian entities in Jamaica. First of all, the resurrected Garvey Outreach Ministries and the Love March Movement. In so doing, we have online Reverend Stacey Ann Garvey, founder of Resurrected Garvey Outreach Ministries, and Miss Francesca Tavares, Vice President of the Love March Movement. Welcome to you again, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm in spite of what you said earlier, ladies, I'm still curious. Forgive my curiosity. But why call your organizations these names? Resurrected Garvey Outreach Ministries, Love March Movement. Why Resurrected Garvey, Reverend Garvey? Why love in terms of Love March Movement, Mr. Vares? Begin with you, Reverend Garvey.
So the name Resurrected Garvey came about after I came home from being incarcerated. I had an encounter one morning where the Holy Spirit was waking me up and saying, Resurrected Garvey, Resurrected Garvey. So when I jumped up and I'm saying Resurrected Garvey, when I actually Googled my first name, which is Toussaint. Toussaint actually means resurrection. And then the Garvey would, of course, be my last name. My story is really coming from being at a dead, messy place, a place of just existing, to really a place of life. And so that is the name that God would have given to me. And so when he decided to bring to fruition the ministry, that was the name that God gave me, Resurrected Garvey Ministries. And then one of the arm of the ministry was Resurrected Garvey Outreach Ministry.
Interesting. Mr. Vares, the love aspect of Love March Movement. What's that about?
Yeah. So as I explained before, the movement began as a march for the family, for sexual purity, for the restoration of love in our nation, and the systems that support healthy love, which is the institution of the family, right? Mm-hmm. And from the march came a movement. So here we are in this dispensation of grace and truth, and love being the fullness of that, you know, and that's what undergirds our ministry. So we have two arms. We have our advocacy arm of the ministry, and we have our ministry arm of the ministry, which sees us going into schools and camps and colleges and different groups, and sharing practical tools on how to live a sexually pure life, how to overcome addictions, how to walk out your Christianity in areas of sexual brokenness. And then we have our advocacy side, where we advocate for healthy laws that support the family from a Judeo-Christian worldview in our parliament. So we advocate for policies that uphold the institution of the family and the truth in various aspects of society. So that's where the name came from, Love March Movement.
Yeah. Can you give us an idea, ladies, of how your organizations are funded, staffed, and how they function on a day-to-day basis, beginning with you, Mr. Vares?
Right, so we are donor supported, and if anyone would like to support our various initiatives, we welcome you to visit our website, lovemarchmovement.org. Go to our donate page, and there you can either give via Spur Open online, and that's available for anyone who wants to give around the world, to just click on our Spur Open link and to give a donation there. And for persons who are local or who would like to give via wire transfer, we have our banking details online as well. Because as you know, it takes funds to fuel the fight. I mean, that's what we advocate for as well. Part of the fight. And we are all volunteers. We don't have any full-time staff just yet, but we'd love to. So if anyone would like to come alongside us, we encourage those who are like-minded and are saying, man, I see these young people, they're working, they're doing a lot of work. We could do even more with full-time staff. So if anyone is reaching out, you can give us a quick call at 892-9718, and we'd love to give you some more information on how you can partner with us monthly, weekly, or in a one-off donation. Thank you.
Great. Reverend Garvey.
So we're also funded by donors and partners of the ministry. As I said before, we have about 4 arms of the ministry. One of them is Rescue the Next Generation, which deals with like school tours, going into different institutions and organizations. We have RGM Prison Ministry, where we go into the prison for ministry. And we have Living a Resurrected Life, which is the mentorship and coaching aspects of the ministry. We have pages on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of that. Persons can visit all of the pages to see the work that we've been doing. And we have contact information there. We have videos and stuff of the different activities that we carry out on a daily basis. Of course, there's the RGM team where we have branches now in Florida, in the UK, and we're now setting up our branch in Canada now. And so all of the different areas combined, that is how we come together and fund our projects on a monthly basis.
Interesting. Mr. Varez, major challenges and setbacks that you have had so far and how you addressed them in terms of this organization. You want to start? And then Reverend Garvey.
Sure. And one of the things that of our core values as an institution some of our core values are at the core of it, repeating it 3 times now, prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting. That's something that we commit to as a team. It fuels our resolve and our spiritual vitality and fortitude in the field that the Lord has us in. And we commit to fasting every week from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and we go on extended fast throughout the year. Many of our challenges are spiritual. Even if it's natural, if it's lack of funding, or if it is that we're facing a major move and we're moving to take a stand in a public way, we believe even that is first birth in the spiritual. So we take a lot of spiritual offenses against the difficulties that we face. And we found tremendous success. So when we have our all-night prayer meetings, when we do our 40 days of prayer and fasting, when we do our 21 days of fasting, each year we find that there has been tremendous success. Before we go into Parliament, we stay up all night fasting and praying. And we find that the Lord has given us tremendous success. Us weak, small, little people. We're just young persons with a heart that burns for Jesus. And we've cast all of our basket. We put everything in one basket. It's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. There is no plan B. And so if he doesn't come through, we don't know what we're gonna do. So God will, His will. Each year we have these tremendously large goals, and we are surprised at the end of each year when He comes through. And the money that He provides, of course, it's in the persons who are listening. It's in your wallet. and the prayers that we need as well to support. It's in your partnership as well. And we find that connecting with the bride of Christ, sharing our cares with them and inviting them to step into our burden allows us to surmount the challenges. Because truly, we're better together. We're better together as a team when we do our prayer partners, we maintain our personal altars with the Lord. That's where we found tremendous success, in the place of prayer and fasting.
Reverend Garvey, any major challenges and setbacks?
The major challenge that we have had as a ministry is, people speak transformation, but many don't believe it. And the reality is that when you step out to do an unfamiliar ministry, so prison ministry, getting people to believe that, look, change is possible for people who committed these heinous acts, or getting persons to stand with you when God sends you into those unfamiliar places, to the homeless, to people that are in, people say behind God, and getting persons to believe, especially with a testimony like mine, where I came from, being an ex-inmate and all of that, the red light of second chance, not many people believe in giving a second chance. And so having to advocate for those that are still incarcerated, that might not have the tenacity and the push and the strength to stand up to what society has as many roadblocks in front of them. And so behind the scenes, advocating for persons who are going to come out and probably, the urge to reoffend just to get by in life. So that's one of the major challenges for me. Yeah. And just having to stand resolute, these past 10 years, going 11, that, God has commissioned and called this ministry to stand for others who are coming and just to stay there. I don't think we have gotten to success as yet. I think that we have stood the test of time in terms of just continuing, even when, you're standing alone and, the authorities or whoever, the people who you expect to say, we believe and we'll help or we'll do this, they don't do it. But God called you and you decide to still stand. I believe that's on the road to success, but we're not at success as yet.
Okay. Well, we have to leave it there, ladies. Thank you so very much for joining us, and all the best going forward with your respective ministries.
Thank you so much. And thank you.
Great. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information or get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-959627. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and our guest, I'm Dylan Toussaint, and you're back to Love in the Morning with Jukal Dyer.
Time on Love 101 is now 8 a.m. and you are now invited to listen to Forward in Faith, brought to you by the